Right, next on the list is another MP this evening, Mr. Carmichael. And I think you are happy to accept questions, are you not?
Absolutely, I am, yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Right, if you'd like to read your statement.
Yeah, well, I'm going to sort of highlight some of the points, embellish one or two others, but not read it out because I think we've listened to a lot of readings already. I am the Member of Parliament for Stroud, and the proposed site is in my constituency, so I obviously have had a large number of contacts about it over the last few years. It's fair to say that I probably had about 200 letters of objection. I have had some letters of support, not many, but I have had them, largely from people who live near landfill sites, which is not surprising. And I've had also, which has been referred to earlier in this afternoon, a petition of some 700 people who were opposed to the plans of the council. I would like also to say that I have been involved in a large number of activities associated with this whole question, really ever since 2005, because of course in 2004 the Waste for strategy was announced, which identified Javelin Park as a likely location for some sort of waste disposal system. And between 2005 and 2010, there was a number of meetings organised by the Gloucestershire County Council and by opponents of incineration, largely to sort of tease out the issues. And these took place in, for example, in Stanley Village Hall and in Quaitsley Village Hall. I think it might have been Hartley, but one of the two. So this has been on the agenda for some time, and I have been fully engaged with it basically since 2005. I'm a member of the Environmental Audit Committee, so that gives me an additional dimension to this question, because of course that committee in the House of Commons deals with sustainability, deals with our performance in terms of protecting the environment, and so these kinds of issues do flow for us. I note that a large number of interested parties have expressed their views about matters related to health and have also questioned the County Council's waste core strategy and motives. But this matter, in my view, is very much a question of planning, and we need to focus on the planning issues that are, first of all, those that the County Council chose to use for their rejection, and what we will be discussing through the course of this inquiry. I'm pleased to hear that Mrs. Sweet-Wharton referred to my emphasis on planning in her submission of evidence, and it is correct that I did effectively underline the issues about planning to her when we met.
Sorry, I think you need to speak a little bit more into the microphone. People are having difficulty.
Are you all hearing? No.
You need to speak very close, put your mouth very close to it, not very sensitive.
Like that?
Yes.
My formal letter of objection to the County Council I made when this issue first arose, dated the 20th of April 2012 and the 15th of May 2012, I raised 4 key issues in connection with planning. And the first one is this: that I think the design, visual impact, bulk and massing of the facility on residents living near Javelin Park and the neighbouring area of outstanding natural beauty. It seems to me that the proposed design, size and bulk of the building does not take into account the fact that we are on the edge of the Cotswold AONB. The potential for significant impact on views out of the Cotswold AONB is clearly a matter of planning consideration. Furthermore, there seems to have been rather inappropriate comparisons made by UBB in terms of visual impact with the Blooms Garden Centre and other associated existing buildings. So that would be my first concern. My second concern is the impact of a large volume of heavy goods vehicles and movements in the vicinity. Now, this point was made very well by Councillor Stafford from the Standish Parish Council earlier this afternoon. But I think it's really important to underline the vulnerability of the A4008 in connection with lorry movements. And I would suggest that any permission for such a construction at Javelin Park would have to have robustly enforced traffic movement controls on the lorries themselves. What Councillor Stafford had to say was that existing measures of control have not been satisfactory, and so therefore we do need to raise that as a planning concern. My third worry is noise and odour impacts in the local area. This is important to me because of my experience as a Member of Parliament in the last 3.5 years, where I've come across examples of excessive noise and excessive odour. Both of the best examples are in fact in Standish, where we've had a metal factory making too much noise and a composting unit providing too much odour. Residents have not been pleased about this, so I do think it's really important that appropriate controls are put in place where necessary in this particular application. I am not satisfied that that is necessarily the case. My fourth concern is, while noting that most of the recent proposed design for the complex, I believe that the application does not protect or screen adequately to the east in mitigation against the height of the main buildings and in connection with the area of outstanding natural beauty and indeed local residents. Now, I mentioned to a member of staff at UBB that there was a possibility, it seemed to me, to lower the entire building into the ground. I don't know what happened to that proposal, but I do think it's something that should be considered as part of the planning issues for us. It is, for many, just simply too big and certainly too high. And I think that those people who have talked about planning issues throughout this afternoon have echoed those views. You asked Mr. if we had any suggestions about making this application better, if you like. I think the first thing to bear in mind is there is a possibility of literally purchasing households, the properties of householders in the immediate vicinity, and that should be considered if this process, if this application goes ahead. And the second proposal, described well by Councillor Blackburn in connection with the possible favourable outcome, is that there should really be a very strong community programme from UBB to mitigate against the impact of the incinerator. However, I do not believe that those two measures alone would be sufficient. I think that it is important for me to make it clear that as it stands, I am unconvinced how this proposal can meet planning regulations, planning expectations, and I think that my original objection in planning terms should be recognised, and it still stands.
Thank you very much. Western Smith, any questions? I've got no points to raise out, so thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.